What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. Today we are going to be playing with the new Beauty Below palette from Blend Bunny, and I am so excited about this one, y'all. It has been a hot minute since I played with Blend Bunny here on my channel, and it's not because I don't love the brand or the formulas. It's simply because the color stories haven't been really calling my name as of late, but this one has my name written all over it. First of all, the packaging is incredibly stunning. This is by far the most beautiful packaging that Blend Bunny has ever given us, and I hope the camera is doing it justice. Like, look at how shifty and reflective this is, and the mermaids are raised. Like, a lot of thought went into this packaging, and I appreciate it so much. But the color story in here is just as beautiful, y'all. It is vibrant, it is colorful, it is a little bit deep and on the murky side. Like, it's definitely giving that more darker side of Sirens to it. And this is actually the sister palette to the Lure palette, which came out, I believe, 2 years ago at this point. That's still my absolute favorite one from the brand, but I can definitely see the vision how this is an expansion off of that palette, and we'll definitely have to create a look using the two. But this is going to be a 24 pan palette, and you're going to get an even mix of mattes and shimmers in here, so a very balanced palette. It's going to retail for $45, and y'all, this is a magnetic palette, and she has got some weight to her, let me tell you that right now. But I'm excited to dive into this palette and create a couple of looks for y'all today. We will also be doing another video somewhere down the road creating more looks with this palette, because there are so many beautiful looks to create with this one, and I want to give y'all as much inspiration as I possibly can. But I will have this palette linked and listed down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I am wearing on my face and I use in today's video to create my looks. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But without further ado, let's zoom in, prime my eyes, and get into creating our two looks. Alright, y'all, so per usual, my eyes are primed and ready to go with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and let's dive into this palette and create our two looks. So for the first look, I want to play with this little section over here. Like, this quad is calling my name, and I think I want to throw in like a little splash of this color as well. So I'm actually going to start with this really pretty pink shade up here, which is called Siren Shriek, and I am going to pick that up with, let's go in with this one. This is a BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm going to start by kind of fluffing this into my outer corner and kind of my outer crease area, like the outer half of my lid. Hello, pigmentation. That is so incredibly beautiful. I would expect nothing less though. I'm just going to take whatever I have right here and start to kind of blend it and blow it out a little bit. I don't want to take it past like the center point of my lid, because I want to go in with that lighter kind of periwinkle shade for like an inner corner accent. So I'm just going to buff and blend this out and just make sure that we don't have any harsh lines. And look at that. Oh, that is so beautiful. Blend Bunny has an incredible formula, y'all. They really do. I'm also going to take that shade down onto my lower lash line as well. So just lining it up with what I have on my lid, and then just buffing it out here on the outer corner, making sure that we have just a nice seamless flow that wraps around the outer corner of my lid. Next, I want to go into this really pretty periwinkle blue shade down here, which is called Watery Grave, and I'm going to put that on like the inner portion of my lid, kind of wrapping it around onto my lower lash line. So I'm going to pick it up with a BK Beauty 211 brush, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing that I did on the outer corner, just more so on the inner corner. So I'm just going to lightly buff and blend, and whenever I get to where that pink shade is, I am going to press the two shades together. I don't want to start to blend them together because I don't want it to mud up. I don't want one to take over the other shade. I just want them to blend together really nicely, and I found that pressing the two shades is really what does the trick. So I'm going to go back and go along the edges, just kind of blending and fluffing. I'm going to bring it down onto my lower lash line as well, meeting it up with that first shade that I put down. So what I want to do next is deepen up this outer corner, and to do that I'm going to go into this really deep navy blue shade right here, which is called Abyss, and I'm going to pick that up with a Morphe M506 brush. I don't know why I couldn't remember that number, but I'm going to pick up a little bit of that shade, and I'm just going to press it right out here. I don't want this to take over the look. I just want to get a little bit of depth out here. So once I have it kind of pressed on my lid like that, I am going to wipe off my brush, get rid of any excess, and then go back and start to blend and buff. I'm not really worried about what goes on my lid, because we are going to go over top with a shimmer. So I just want to make sure that it's blended the best that it can be, especially more so like in this outer portion over here. This is definitely going to be a trust the process kind of look. It'll all come together once I get shimmers on, I promise. All right, so my lid is primed. I'm ready to go with my Sugar Drizzle eyeshadow primer. And for all over the lid, I think I want to start with this shade right here. This one is called Pulled Under. So let's do a little swatch of this one on the back of my hand. Now this palette doesn't have any duochromes or multichromes or anything like that. It's just really pretty, like metallic, sparkly shades. And look at that. Oh my gosh, that is incredibly beautiful. So I'm going to put that one all over my lid. So I'm going to pick it up with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to, that is not a 203 brush. Girlfriend, where is my 203 brush? Hold on. All right, so this is my BK Beauty 203 brush. So I went ahead and picked up a little bit of that shade. I'm going to spray it with some Matte Fix Plus, and I am going to start by pressing this all over my lid, bringing it over to the inner corner but not into my inner corner, and then I'm going to bring it over to the outer corner as well, meeting it up with that matte shade that I have down there. It's going to blend together really nicely, and I really want that pink to be more of like a peak out there. I don't want it to be like the main focus. I really want this shimmer and those blue shades to be the main focus of this look. But look at how gorgeous that is. It is so incredibly sparkly and beautiful, and I didn't get any fallout with this shade, but keep in mind I always use a shimmer primer and I always spray my brush, and that just helps alleviate any fallout when you're applying it to the lid. Now I want to go into this shade down here, and this one is called Immerse, and I'm going to pop that on like the center of my lid and my inner corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up with my finger first and give y'all a little bit of a swatch. So there is that beautiful shade right there, and we're going to put that right there on my hand. Oof, that is incredibly beautiful. It's almost like an iridescent shade. It doesn't have a true translucent base to it, but it's not nearly as deeply based as that first shade. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit on my finger and pop it right here in the very center, giving a little spotlight moment and a little lightness and brightness to this lid. And then I'm going to pick up some with my pinky and go right here in the inner corner, just over top that matte shade, and kind of blend it up onto my lid a little bit and bring it down onto my lower lash line. All right, y'all, so this is our first completed look with this palette, and how fun is this? I love how like dark and smoky it is with that little pop of pink on the outer corner. I just think it's absolutely beautiful, and it really makes me excited to dive back into this palette and play with some more of these shades. And of course, they all performed exactly how I expect a Blend Bunny shadow to perform. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look really quick. So in my lower waterline, I went with a Give liner in the shade Bathwater. I lined my lid with a ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. So diving back into this palette, I'm not sure what I want to do for my second look. Like, I'm kind of intrigued with this little quad right here, but at the same time, I love these greens over here. So maybe we'll do kind of a combination of like this little section right here. You would think I would dive into the purples, but I'm going to save that for another look. So to start off this look, I think I'm actually going to go in with this kind of murky seaweed green shade right here, which is called Murky Waters. And I am going to pick that up with, let's go in with this one. This is a Morphe M504 brush, just a big fluffy blending brush. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that shade, and I'm going to fluff this into my crease, bringing it all the way over to my inner corner and focusing it more so like above the crease. I'm not going to bring it into the outer corner like I did in the first look. I really kind of want to focus this up here. So I'm just going to pack and blend and make sure that we are nice and blown out, no harsh lines, and that went on beautifully. This one is definitely more of a buildable shade, but it's probably one of the lightest shades in this palette, so I kind of expect it. But I'm sure if you were to go in really heavy-handed, you could really pack this shade on. Next, I want to go into this green shade over here, which is called Dark Truth, and I want to put that in my outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up with a Morphe M453 brush, and just like I did in the first look, I'm going to kind of blow out my outer corner with this shade. So I'm going to start by kind of pressing it right here and building up the pigmentation that I want, and I'm going to bring it about a third of the way over, and then once I have that shade down and kind of the shape that I want, I can go back and start to buff and blend and make sure that we are nice and blown out with soft edges. To deepen up the outer corner, I'm going to go into this dark green shade right here, and this one is called Take Heed. So I'm going to go back in with my Morphe M506 brush. I just kind of washed it off between looks and it's nice and dry. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that shade and I'm going to press it right here on my outer corner, building up that little bit of depth that I want. And this is the first shade that I'm actually going to wrap around down onto my lower lash line as well. I want to do a little pop of color down there. I still want to keep it more on the green lines, but I'm going to go in with that other shade that we haven't gotten to in this little section. I'm going to kind of wrap this around right down here and just kind of make sure that everything is nice and buffed out and blended and softened. Now for the lower lash line, I want to go into this shade right here as like my little pop of color. That shade is called Beware the Mermaid. So I'm going to pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO4 brush, and I'm just going to kind of buff this along my lower lash line. I'm not going to bring it down super low or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of swipe it and blend it and buff it out, keeping it pretty tight, but also not like tight lining either. So once again, my Sugar Drizzle primer is on, and I think I want to play with a mixture of these three shades right here. So I'm going to swatch them out on the back of my hand so I can kind of get a better feel with how they're going to look and how I want to arrange them on my lid. So I'm going to start with this one right here, and then we'll go into this one and then this one. So the first one is going to be Trance. So let's pick up a little bit of this shade and put it right here on my hand. Oh my gosh, that is like the most beautiful kind of murky green based gold shade. It didn't look very green in the pan, but I love the way that's swatched out. The next one that we have is going to be Irresistible, and this one is more of a teal shade. So I'm going to put that one right there. Ooh, that is gorgeous as well. I don't know if I like the combination of those two shades together. We might be doing this one all over the lid, but I have one more to swatch out, and that one is going to be Mesmerizing, and that is that shade right there. So let's put this one over here. Oh my gosh, that one is really pretty. That almost has like a brown base to it. Not flippy, but kind of a little bit of a shift going on. So that kind of changes things a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do actually is maybe start with this shade right here. We're going to start there, and then we'll kind of see what happens as we go. So that one is called Trance, and I am going to pick that up with my BK Beauty 203 brush that's floating around here in this mess somewhere. Okay, I found it. Let me kind of clean it off really good, real quick. All right, so I'm going to pick that shade up called Trance. I'm going to spray my brush with my MAC Fix Plus per usual. I always do, so if I forget to mention it, just assume that I did. Oops, hello, y'all. So I'm going to spray the brush, not the wall, and I'm going to pack this all over the lid. Ooh, that is incredibly beautiful. I just love this shade. It's so unique. Like I said, I was convinced that it was like a true yellow gold shade in the pan, and once I swatched it out, I just love the kind of murky green undertone that it has. Like, look at that. That blended into that outer corner beautifully. Alright y'all, so I changed my mind a little bit. So instead of going in with either of these two shades over here, I think I just want to pop this one in my inner corner and call it a day. I just love the way this shade looks all over my lid, and I really don't want to put anything else on there. So let's go ahead and swatch this one out right here. This one is called Her Prey, and this is like a really pretty kind of like peachy orangey shade. So I'm going to swatch that one right there. Ooh, look at how gorgeous that is. I'm going to put this one on my inner corner and just finish off this look. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush, which is this little guy right here. Spray it per usual and pop this on my inner corner, and then I can go in with liner and mascara and finish up this look. Yes, I love that. I think that is a good choice. Alright y'all, so there we have it, our second completed look with this palette, and I love this look as well. I can't decide which look I love more. I really love the dark murkiness of this one, and honestly, it's the green shimmer all over the lid that really makes me love this look. I think it's just such a gorgeous shade and very unassuming in the pan as well. I'm not the biggest fan of the shade that I chose for my inner corner. I would have really liked it if I had something that was more of like a translucent base green shade. I felt like the other greens were just a little too dark, and this one is just not my first choice, but it does look really pretty in there. I'm just not overly excited about it, but let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down and see the beautiful shimmer and sparkle in these two looks, and then close out this video with my first initial impression thoughts. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Chanel liner. This is in the shade Vert Lagoon, I believe is how you pronounce it, and then I went in with my same liquid liner and mascara that I used in the first look. Alright, Alright y'all, so I want to close out this video with some of my thoughts on this palette, and based off of first impression, I absolutely love it. I had such a good time playing with this palette today and creating these two looks, and I think they both turned out absolutely beautiful. I still can't decide which one I love more, but the color story in here is beautiful. The formula is impeccable. I was quickly reminded why I love the Blend Bunny formula so much, and it's because it's just effortless to work with. Yes, her mattes are very pigmented, but they are so easy to apply and manipulate on the lid. I never have any issues with them getting away from me. I don't get any fallout with her matte shades either. I do get a little bit of kick up in the pan, but it doesn't really translate to the lid. But keep in mind, I do go in pretty lightly handed because I like to keep that in mind, and I always do my base makeup first, and I don't want to mess that up. But still, her matte formula is incredibly beautiful, and the shades last on my lids all day. I never get any fading, and her shimmers are beautiful as well. We don't have any multi-chromes or duochromes in here, but they are so sparkly and just reflective on the lid, very smooth. They don't emphasize any texture, and I don't get any fallout throughout the day with her shimmers either. But this color story, y'all, I love this color story in here. I think this is just so beautiful and fun. I love the combination of like the bright vibrant shades with the murkiness in the middle. I love that we have an even balance of mattes and shimmers in here. I do wish we had like a couple lighter shades in here, but these ones down here are definitely light enough for my fair skin that I can get a soft gradient on my lid, and I just think this is a fun color story. Like I said, I am really inspired by this, but more than anything, and I know this is a small thing, I love the packaging on this palette. Y'all, this is gorgeous. I love that sort of holographic effect that it has, and like the raised mermaids, they did such a good job with this one, and I cannot wait to dive back into this palette and create more looks for y'all. But for today, that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you picked up this palette, if it's on your wish list, which look was your favorite. I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation, light up that comment section, and as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. Until my next video, have a good one. Bye.